and some a lot longer, because like you said, with improv, it's still not improv. There's, like with our stage show, it's in sections, and depending on how much time we have and where the audience is going, there are cues that we'll use that I'll say something and Jill will know we're doing this section. It's a lot like football when the quarterback, you know, when you're making adjustments to what the defense is doing. I made a sports analogy at an anime con.
That's okay.
Other than dabbing, you don't get it. And I know, there's always that person going, I get it, I love you. But that's, it seems like and this is actually my outline, I believe.
We worked on it together.
We worked on it together from 250 miles apart.
Nice.
But I haven't done this panel, we did this panel 2 years ago, and I haven't seen it since. And so I know that I knew the points, but not the sub-points.
Yeah, it's just points, yeah. And then we just.
And since I don't have my reading glasses on, me doing this
sorry.
is usually a stall, because I can't read it anyway. Mostly.
Sometimes.
But it is important that you know your material. We did a self-defense seminar at school once that brought in a different martial arts group as well. So we were right next to each other, and while I had a big group of kids, and we're going over stuff, and I just went through it for an hour and a half, their instructors had note cards.
And you spend
And
so
they
much
were
time fumbling with the note cards, you're not
reading off the
actually
note
teaching.
card and talking to, and I'm like, you didn't even take speech in school, because you can use note cards, but you glance at the note cards and you look at your audience and talk to them. They were reading off their note cards.
And
they
staring
go,
at the note
oh,
card.
okay, well, let's do this then. And then they show the move that they just read, and then they wanted the students to do it. And then they got up, and by the time the hour and a half was done, every one of their students had joined our group to do the material. And there's a difference. And you guys have been to enough panels to, you can kind of tell when people actually know their subject material and when they don't. It's not just that they're winging it, because people who are very knowledgeable can wing something and still have it come out badly. But
Well, because it comes out in super unorganized fashion, you jump from one thing to
oh,
another.
yeah, wait, I meant to say,
Yeah.
and if you've been to my panels, I'll do stuff like that, and it seems like, hey, it's just random. No, I'm doing that on purpose. I want to seem very flippant and goofy and unorganized and not cold and calculating and evil like I really am.
I love the nervous giggles on that. They were laughing, but then it kind of got. Is he really joking?
I work really hard at being funny and nice and pleasant and disarming. Because I'm 6'7", I'm 250 pounds, and I'm a full-time martial arts instructor, and when I get into what I'm talking about, I'm very intense, and I will make people nervous. I had adult instructors come for private lessons, and they're too afraid. And by afraid, I don't mean that they're just, if it affects your behavior, where you can't learn because you're distracted by being intimidated, you're not getting your money's worth. So I'll teach, but they'll actually do the sparring and everything with Jill or with my son, because it's not as intimidating, and they don't realize she'll hurt them a lot more than I will.
Yeah.
Because I am nicer. I need more control.
Ish. Sometimes.
Control's overrated.
Right, but again, she could get away with that, and I would lose business if I did that. But at anime cons, I work hard. If you see me on stage doing this, because it's cute, and I picked that up because when I teach in public schools with elementary school kids,
They do that
if
all
I
the time.
if I let the intensity go, where I'm just, we're going to do this, and you're going to go here, and you're going to turn it, and you're going to pop the elbow, and we're going to, I make kids cry.
Yep.
They liked it in the self-defense class yesterday, though.
Heck yeah, we did.
That was the coolest, we got back to, I was still in a rush, right? That is the coolest self-defense class we've ever got to do at an anime con, because we were showing stuff, and the guy in the back that was really working and doing stuff with Jill came up to me last night and he goes, you know, I gotta tell you, I'm an ex-cop, and I taught the tactics part, and that was, how do you stay married to your wife? How does she not kill you? She was cranking that, and I had it, you know, because that's how you train, but nobody ever gets the best of me. And she had it, and she looked at me, and then just turned it up. And he's like, I don't think I can use my hand. And his wife came by, patted me on the back. She goes, I just want you to know, I'm his wife, and that was awesome. I have never seen him get owned by anybody, and the fact that it was a woman that did it just made my whole year. I'm like, yeah, it's a lot more fun until it happens to you.
Yeah. At least she doesn't do it in her sleep.
Or does she?
That's when she's most dangerous. Well, that's not
Aside
true.
from the broken nose.
My wife hurts me when if we're just like free sparring, it always ends up the same way. Her on the ground and me on top. If we're using weapons, I have both. If it's empty hands, she's just going, "Stop it! You don't play right." I'm like, "We're just wrestling."
Yeah.
But when we're doing something that's actually choreographed, she'll hurt me. We were videotaping. Allie goes with me to some conventions that Jill can't do. So we'll work on moves for her because she lives 300 miles away. She's not one of our students. So we'll work on our stuff over and over and over again so she can do the moves. And then we wanted to put them on film so she could take them home and practice them. And we had a flexible weapon, like the chain, that you do a block, wrap the wrist, duck under the arm, and flip them over. It's, for the Aikido people in the room, it's Shiho Kazushi with a flexible weapon. She wasn't getting it. And so we decided to let her film because that's part of what she does for a living. And Jill was going to demonstrate the move.
Uh-oh.
So she looped, ducked underneath, flipped me out, and then she wasn't supposed to add the ending where you take the impact of the bounce and turn them over so you can put the arm up. But she started to do it and didn't think and then stopped. So what she did was she looped, ducked underneath, extended me out, and then flipped me over and pulled back and dislocated my shoulder.
Ooh. Oh.
On film.
Yep.
And then told me it was my fault.
Who made me angry before we did that?
Sweetie, if I got to hurt you every time you made me angry before,
Oh boy.
so she is
Them
dangerous.
fighting
We knew
words.
that.
But see, that's the part we edit out.
He's the one that's dangerous in his sleep. He has very vivid dreams.
Oh,
Or
yeah.
being a storyteller.
I dreamed that we were out walking one night, and we were walking around, and 5 guys jumped us.
Oh, God.
And so we're having this showdown. 3 guys there, 1 there, and 1 there. So they had us bracketed, and I'm there, and I draw my gun, because I'm a big believer in protecting my family.
Yep.
And the guy's talking, and he's got the gun pointed at me, and I'm okay with that. If he shoots me, that's fine. But
Aim
don't
at your
point the
wife.
gun at my wife. And as soon as he points it at her, I'm into action. So I'm pushing. And in my
Did
dream,
you shove her out of bed?
I am protecting her. So I'm shooting, and then I'm diving down, shoving her out of the way while I'm shooting that guy over there. I'm asleep. Apparently, I was living the dream.
Dad's sleeping. He body tackles me from the side going, "Stay down, stay down!"
I refuse to believe that I was going pew, pew, pew. I really think that part was embellished.
I'm like, what in the world are you talking about? It's the middle of the night.
Look, guys who wear this hat don't go pew, pew, pew.
Yeah, but the ones that wear that one.
This guy does. Yeah, somebody have questions, because otherwise the stories about me just get embarrassing. Yes, sir.
When introducing supporting characters in your work, do you have a threshold as far as what's appropriate for the time you spend introducing them? Do you have any specific threshold for that, or is it circumstantial?
To be honest with you, whether it's going to end up being a main secondary character, that's going to be through the entire book, or whether it's just a character who has a specific purpose for one scene, I use the same beginning. I introduce them on a smaller level, and then if they're not going to be part of the book for very long, they don't get fleshed out a tremendous amount. But I do the same thing with a character whose role is going to be expanded, and I let time expand the character, because if you do it differently, you have somebody who's just in the scene to die. That's like Star Trek with the random red shirt guy that dies before the first commercial. There's no character development because he's going to die right away. But if you do that, then you don't care about him, and also you don't want the audience to know who's going to die and who's not. So you introduce the characters and you give them the same amount of face time at the beginning. At least that's the way I do it, is I give them the same amount, because you don't know then when she walks into the story with her hat on, whether she's going to be in the story for 5 minutes or for the next 16 books. By then we're tired of her.
And then we kill her off.
And then we kill her.
I can say personally, by reading Dan's book, that he did an excellent job fleshing out all of his characters, because I had no idea when this main character was coming in. There were so many wonderful characters coming in.
Aw.
And then finally I was like,
What is that, $5 I was going to give you?
like, where's Drew? Where's Drew? I mean, is Drew even that important? He finally goes, oh, here he is, like page 70. Okay, cool. But that's fine.
That's true. I didn't introduce my main character in my first
Which I thought
novel
was really unique.
until page 70
But I
because I
love
was
the-
setting a background and a story
Yeah.
for the bad guys. Because the book, Drew was the main character in my novel.
Yes.
And at the end of the day, he was destined to join this outlaw motorcycle gang. But in order to make it more real to me, I established the biker gang first as the bad guys
And
and
the town.
the bad presence. So we had the peaceful town and then the biker gang, and then Drew being a central part of the town came in, and then this